Welcome to Carry the Flag podcast, episode number 2. We got Dylan Curtis here today. Dylan is an Army Ranger to a firefighter to now a business owner of Brigands Clothing, where they help military first responders with PTSD. Dylan, dude, thanks for being on today. I love the brand. We've talked on the phone probably about a year ago. And dude, I love your mindset. I love the brand. And you were definitely at the top of the list of people that I wanted on the podcast, man.
Yeah, dude, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, I guess it has been like a year or so now. That's pretty crazy to look back on. Wow, yeah, it's been a little bit. We've been up to quite a bit, I think both of us on the business side and probably on the firefighting side.
Dude, yeah. And I mean, you being a fellow firefighter was definitely something when I started this, but you've been in the game for a little bit, but I kind of looked at your brand of going like, man, like what's this guy doing? And dude, obviously I see the Brigands flag back there with the American flag, and it looks freaking dope, man.
Yeah, thanks,
But dude,
bro. Thanks, man.
I wanted to start the podcast off. And dude, tell us a little bit about your childhood. Cause again, I know, man, you've got a long resume there. Like I said, Ranger, firefighter, business owner. Tell us about your childhood, man.
Yeah, I originally am from Fort Worth, Texas. Big part of my childhood was my brother that was a year older than me. We're like pretty much Irish twins, so uh, he's almost the same weight class in wrestling. Grew up that way. Pretty rough childhood just with me and big brother.
Gotcha.
That turned into wrestling in high school and did all the sports growing up. But afterwards, we ended up working a summer job in high school, and my boss there was a ranger. He was an Army Ranger back in the '80s, and he actually had a combat jump into Grenada. And he would see me and my brother and be like, "You guys don't need to go to college right now, man. It's 2011. Y'all need to go in the Army and go through Ranger selection and like, what do you get? Jump out of airplanes and do the thing. Like, you guys are able-bodied Americans." And and the reality was the country was still deploying, and we were at wartime. And that really, as an 18-year-old kid, was like, yeah, man, so we both really started looking towards the military. I was originally looking more towards the Air Force pararescue side.
All
um
right. All right.
had some injuries in the on the wrestling in the wrestling room that pretty much took Air Force off the table for me. But big brother went through Ranger selection, and a year later I followed him. So big praise to him. He guinea pigged everything in the military, and
Dude.
we both ended up in Savannah, Georgia at 1st Ranger Battalion together in
Oh,
around 2012.
Savannah's
Uh
horrible place to be. It's
yeah, man,
terrible down there.
of all the places they throw up army bases, Hunter Army Airfield wasn't the worst place. At least we were, close to
Dude, that's
downtown
all.
and
So
everything. So
you and your brother are
yeah,
both
yeah.
Rangers.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, man. Like I said, he
All
had
right. All right.
the barracks room above me. We were in the same company. We were both Delta Company at 175. He was 2nd platoon, I was 1st platoon. And it was cool that, we were still close. At least we saw each other in the halls at work and stuff, which was pretty rad. During
Yeah,
training
nice.
events and things like that, it was always pretty exciting. So mom and dad appreciated it as well. My parents are super close. They're, married 37 years and just moved down here to Florida and everything. So that was always nice for them. Big, in a different way, he had his own pressure. I had more of the pressure of like, big brother just went through
Yeah.
this.
Yeah.
If I don't pass this, oh man, this is I better make sure I come out on the other side successful. So that was a bit of a trip too, but
Dude, that's yeah, my brother and I both. My grandfather was a firefighter, and that's who just kept like we
nice.
wanted to be like.
Of
And dude,
course.
so my brother and I, like I said, we went through EMT school together. We went through we got hired on the ambulance service out here, same time, because I both know like during after September 11th, it was very hard to get on a fire department.
But yeah.
So
Oh yeah. It's
we
pedal
went
to
to
the
an
metal
ambulance
for a lot of
service,
people.
got our experience, and then
Yeah.
he went to a different department. I went to Kansas City, Kansas, and then he came
Hmm.
over with me. And so we worked there for 15 years until I left. So dude, yeah, we went through paramedic school together too. So yeah.
That's freaking awesome, man. What's y'all's age difference?
dude, we're like literally sitting here listening to yours. I'm like, my brother and I are like a year and a half, almost like you said, Irish
That's
twins too. And I'm like,
that's awesome. Yeah,
so
dude, he's best
crazy.
best wrestling partner I ever had for sure. Yeah, he'll beat the
Probably that
brakes off you
wrestling
too.
probably went to a little bit of physical,
Oh
fight
yeah.
sometimes, probably just
Oh,
like
for
my brother
sure.
and I.
Oh, for sure. You got
But
that
dude,
right.
that
But
so your boss was the influence of basically you kind of getting in the military, or did you like was your grandfather, was your dad? What like
so yeah, actually, it really started with my dad. He was actually he was a firefighter in the Air Force, stationed at a MacDill Air Force Base in Tampa. He's from Florida, and
okay, okay.
yeah, he's was a career firefighter at a DFW airport in Texas as well. So my dad's always been a firefighter and a roofer. That's what he's done his whole life. And I always thought I would eventually go into the fire service. Growing up around the DFW
Yeah,
airport firehouse, and those guys was just, I mean, you know how that is, man. Just the coolest childhood ever when dad's a fireman. So
yeah.
I always saw that in the cards one way or another. But also, he was very open to questions about like what the military does, and he was very honest about like, oh, dude, you could do anything you want in the military, and whether it's an electrician in the Air Force or a mechanic in the Army or this and a that, whatever. It's like, and that's what really started to open my eyes, because even with recruiters coming through school, you think the Army is whatever you think it is, the crawling around in the woods, and you have no real life, and you just signed all of your freedom away. And once I started to learn that's not really what it is, that's when I really started looking at, for whatever reason, which I don't even know that I have a real answer, but started looking at the Air Force pararescueman. Uh,
Yeah.
and like I said, I ended up breaking my ankle pretty bad in a wrestling tournament, and like spiral fractured, tib fib, the whole thing. And the Air Force was like, whoa, no. They
Yeah.
were like, maybe in a couple years after, you can pass all this stuff. And the Army was like, when that cast comes off, you give us a call. And
We got you. We
like I
got
said,
you.
at around that time working at that job, my brother had started to really lean into the I want to jump out of planes and shoot guns with the Army Rangers. So once he signed a contract, him being a year older than me, he ended up taking off, and I was kind of undecided. I actually snapped my ankle and had that injury, I believe, the day he got his cell phone back for the first time after basic training or something like that. So I was really just a year behind him, really. So I actually
Got you.
left for the Army a year to the exact same day from him. It was like March 4th, exactly a year later or something like that. So
Dude,
kind of cool.
that's okay. So you go through basic, you go into being a ranger. I mean, dude, it's always a question that everybody asks about selection. Like, what?
Yeah, that's a fun time, man.
Okay, so how long is it?
Yeah, so now originally a lot of the early Rangers that were deploying in the early Global War on Terror, early 2000s, it was called RIP. It was Ranger Indoctrination Program, and it was a shorter course where it was more or less 3 weeks of getting the absolute dog crap beat out of you, but you're not really learning many skills. So you'd show up to your ranger, your company or your assignment wherever you get sent to, and you're kind of just like a dull but extremely tough person, but you don't really know anything about small unit ranger tactics or
Got you. Got you.
really CQB or medical tactical combat casualty care. You don't really know anything. You're just you're just a mule. Um, since then, I don't know exactly what the year was. It changed to what they call RASP. It stands for Ranger Assessment and Selection Program, and that's 8 weeks, essentially broken up into 2 4-week phases. The first four being a little bit more of a gut punch, with your Hell Week being Coal Range at week 2, and then the back half, you're still getting smoked. You're holding the Ranger standard, and you can very well get dropped, but you're learning Ranger First Responder. You're learning, different weapon systems and things like that. So, really, a lot of people would always tell me, if you can make it past Coal Range, that Hell Week, you can make it past phase 1. If you can make it past phase 1, you're gonna see the end. So,
Got you. All right. So, dude,
but
like,
yeah.
what are we? what are we talking about a regular day during Hell Week looks like? Like,
I believe the very first day stepping out to Coal Range, it was like, the big thing, you've got a 04 step off or 03 a.m., step off for a ruck, and all you've got is a packing list and an unknown distance ruck, which is, probably between 45 and 65 pounds, depending on what the packing list was and whatever you're carrying, water, stuff like that. Um, Kind of unknown distance ruck march to Coal Range, which is essentially, in like civilian terms, would be like a campground in the woods. There's like some, more or less like teaching equipment out there. There's a couple sheds
gotcha,
for
gotcha.
equipment. There's like a set of bleachers out there, and then there's a big like crucible, big sandbag pit where it just looks like you don't want to be. So, but it's a foot march all the way there. So I think ours was like 8 miles or something. Um, so you go 8 miles there. As soon as you get there, it's like stress right off the bat. They're making you, up, down, bound, kind of like you're in a reacting to contact and things like that. They were throwing sin grenades and shooting blank rounds at you and kind of making you react to contact, and then they quote unquote kill somebody, and then now you've got to like do a quick trauma assessment on this guy and return fire. And, they're just like putting the stress on you right off the bat. And then they go to a 4-hour land navigation lane where you're walking around in the wood with a compass and a map, and you're finding points by yourself. And it's kind of just like a nonstop. You come back, and then in the heat of the day, you have like a 2-hour class on back to fire, or how to set up an L-shaped ambush, or how to break contact or clear a single
Yeah, yeah,
story
yeah.
house, and you name it. It just kind of is a beat you over the head constantly, with the fear of the unknown being extremely high at all times. Is
And
really,
that's Hell Week, which is a week long, but it is a
yeah.
4 week. It's
Yeah,
eight
that
weeks, you
first
said, but the
8
first
weeks
four.
total. Yeah, Coal Range is really like you'll be out there for 6 days in the woods camping, if you will. Um, you're gonna have, you're gonna be in your uniform at all times, really not getting much sleep in the patrol base. You're keeping 33% security. The whole thing, it's very much like the worst of the worst, because it's nonstop. Everything else is a high pace of PT in the morning. You're doing long runs or kit runs, or you're carrying people with litters as if they're casualties. You're doing all sorts of functional PT that is ripping you pretty good, and then you're out at the range shooting. You're doing everything you could imagine that an infantryman would do, for sure. And all along the way, you're getting smoked, you're getting, corrective action, I guess you'd call it. You're doing about a million
Corrective action.
push-ups a day, things like
Corrective
that. So,
action. Nice.
yeah, it's really just like, for instance, it was never really a thing for me that I felt like I wasn't gonna pass, or I felt like I was gonna not be able to do it. Again, my brother had kind of told me really what I need to be working on. Good with a ruck, good at calisthenics, super fast on your run, and you'll get to where you want to be. So I kind of I took that, advice very well. And then for me, a lot of it was like the hydration at one point in Coal Range. I remember my buddy uh Ryan Hagan, big tall dude from Georgia, and I was almost going down. I mean, I'm doing the head bob, I'm starting to cramp, like I'm starting to do the dance where I'm like, oh God, my ribs are cramping up on me. And we're sitting in the middle of the field, and they're just like pointing with a wooden stick about how to set up an ambush on an enemy or something. And I'm like, dude, I got to get out of the sun like right now. Like I'm hurting. I'm going to go down, I think. And I'll never forget my buddy Ryan Hagan. He stands up just enough to cast a shadow over me, who was like almost in the fetal position on the ground, like feeling sorry for myself. And he stood up, and I'll never forget that shadow over my whole body was like just enough to feel like it dropped 1 or 2 degrees. And I swear to God, it saved me. Like, if it wasn't for that, I swear to God, I was like, dude, I owe you my Tambouré. I hope you know that. And he doesn't even remember that, but which is funny.
He was
But
probably
I
like,
know,
dude, I was feeling it too. I was trying not
right?
to
Yeah, yeah.
pass
He was
out.
like, I was looking out for myself. What are you talking about? But no,
Yeah.
I tell that story all the time because I was like, dude, you're the guy for doing that, man. But
Dude, because
yeah,
that was
fun
one of my
times in
questions
selection.
was what was your hardest day? You know, what was the
Yeah, and
day that
I think it wasn't anything specifically. I think it was just probably didn't hydrate as well on that ruck march coming in, and I was just getting the heat was getting to me or whatever it was that day. It was otherwise,
and
man. I
where
think I had some pretty bad shin splints from running
what
in the
state were
boots,
you doing
but
this in? Was
this
this
is all
Georgia?
in at Fort Benning, Georgia. Yeah, Columbus,
Yeah, dude.
Georgia.
It gets hot.
So, and in August, yeah, I went through in
Yeah.
August. I think it was around late August. I ended up going through.
Yeah, it
So
definitely gets hot.
not fun. Those bugs out there and everything, man. They got you hitting the wood line and you're running in full uniform, like a quarter
Yeah.
mile as fast as you damn can. Yeah, it's fun out there.
Dude, so we went from the hardest day. What do you think the best lesson you learned from being in the military?
Man, I think that's a tough one. I might have a different answer every couple days, to be honest with you.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I think looking back on that time versus where I am now, and trying to not in a negative way compare the two, but I think in a really good way is I was the biggest takeaway and like the most grateful thing is I was lucky to see what this extensive, true, like big leadership can actually look like. I mean, guys that truly walk the walk and lead from the front in a way that they will show you in a couple months when you get deployed. They'll show you how they're calm over the radio. They'll show you how when they walk into the room, like people can be like, "Oh, it's okay. My squad leader, this guy, I forever and ever, man, freaking Staff Sergeant Morton, my first squad leader was like, anytime Morton was around, I was like, hey, we're good. Everything's be all right. Like we're cool. He's here.
Gotcha, man.
Like,
Yeah.
and like you can, and that's part of like I'm 18 years old too. You know what I mean? Like Texas, I might be tough and I might have, and this is me looking back on it. You're still a kid's doing you're a kid doing a man's job, so when you
Yeah.
have that strong character that can come in and not only talk it, but show you how things should be done and the morality that you should carry along with you day in, day out. As an 18-year-old kid, like I still think about that and I'm 32. Like that has stuck with me for so long. And now I see an 18-year-old walk into the firehouse and maybe we just ran, and maybe it's not the super sick fire. My department's had a string of pretty gnarly pediatric calls, unfortunately. And we just have a bunch of new hires. Some of these guys are 18 years old. And maybe I'm the older guy because Morton was 32 years old when I was looking up to him. So if I can
Yeah,
come into
yeah.
work and I can be that, like, whether it's being positive, making jokes, making sure we're all eating together, whatever the thing is, if I can try and be that that guy, like just paying it forward, man. So
I mean, dude,
I take those lessons more than anything.
I think, yeah, you're exactly right. We look at somebody that we look up to and we hold them up here. And you're like, what has that guy done that I can do? Because he's got that, like you said, he walks into the room and you just know
Yeah.
that you're like, dude,
And
we're good.
so much of it is just like that to me is just a person that simply put his guys first. And I know
Of
that can be a
course, of
thing that's
course.
easy to type in an Instagram caption, right? Everybody out there running pages, running cool guy pages and stuff.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
really simple to put that, lead from the front or whatever Jocko said on his last podcast or whatever. Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yes, it's all true, but when there's a leader that is truly quote unquote for the boys or puts the boys first, puts the crew first, whomever it may be. And that's really essentially all it is. Like the first time I got to feel that for real and be surrounded by multiple people that carried the
Dude,
same
I
flag, if you will.
I completely agree with you, man. Like you said, it's don't forget where you came from and take care of your people. Take care of them and they will take care of you. That's the biggest thing. Like one of the most respected captains that I think of, is like, dude, he'd jump on a grenade for you. He'd jump on a grenade for you. And then that made everybody else want to jump on a grenade for him. You know,
Right.
he's still like in my mind. I'm like, all right, what would he do right now? You know, and I think you're exactly right, dude. It's like you said, it's don't forget where you came from and take care of your people. Like, just take care of them. They will take care of you. I mean, there was
Absolutely.
sometimes, as a young, because I'm a back end guy, long story short, bouncing around from departments, I'm still a back end guy, but I'll ride out as captain and stuff. And, there's some
Yeah.
times where the crew has saved me on some things that happened that's like, dude, you took care of it.
Yeah.
I wasn't
Absolutely.
100% sure. It was like, oh crap, like they jumped in, did it, and it was like, sweet, you made me look good. You made
Right.
me look good.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's a 2-lane road for sure.
Of course, man. Of course.
Absolutely.
And reeling it back in, dude. What I know your brain and everything with PTSD. What struggles did you have coming out of, you know, from military to back to civilian life to then the fire service, man? Because I do have a lot of friends, man. I mean, the military service is very structured, very structured. And I feel
Yes.
like once you get out to civilian life, it's kind of hard because you're like, everything was so structured here. And now we're in a society of it's unstructured. What, what was your biggest challenge, man?
So I think, I mean, everybody's going to have their own situation, and depending on what job they had and how different it was from their normal life when they get out. Are they continuing to work in the same field, or are they just getting out of the infantry and going to college? Those are like polar opposites.
Yeah.
Or were you a mechanic in the Air Force, and now you're going to get out and now you're like a mechanic for the civilian company that does it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there's
Makes sense.
obviously
Makes sense. Yeah.
not that that's not hard. There's just gonna be different things. I can really only speak to mine own, I guess, but this is what, through Brigands Co and our Instagram, it's why the DMs are always open, emails always open, is I talk to a lot of people that are doing just that. They're getting out of the military. And where I had the same theme and I see it so commonly is it's exactly what you're talking about. And it's like the structure. And a lot of these people, when I got out, it's the same age as most guys are kind of getting their bachelor's degrees if they went right in after college. So I'm 22, 23 years old, couple deployments under my belt, couple crazy stories, couple funny stories. And all of a sudden, I'm in a college classroom and I'm kind of gasping for air in there, and it's a complete flip of the board. And um, luckily, I had not everybody has their big brother either, who's been doing it for a year and who has already been kind of walking that path. He was already a national registered EMT by the time I got out of the Army, because he kept his foot on the gas, because that's what other people
Yeah.
told us to do, is don't, start snoozing the alarm when you get out of the Army. Try and keep going to the gym, keep going for a certification, a degree, a new job, a
Yeah.
trade, whatever it is. That's a lot, because a lot of it is that immediate change.
Yeah.
It's not a slow, a
Well,
slow drip.
I mean, dude, you're coming from, especially being in the Rangers, like you're coming from
Mhm.
a very highly like
Sure.
stressful situation to now a classroom that somebody's feelings got hurt because they got a C on an assignment.
Well, and I go
You're
back
like,
to a lot of us Rangers too, is I really do say a lot of it is going back to the kids doing a man's job, because I got out and part of me, I remember being like, "Oh, I gotta keep this tough exterior. I just came from this career field." But man, I really wasn't paying rent. I wasn't I could eat at the cafeteria, the DFAC on post for free 3 times a day. Comes out of my paycheck. I pay for it. I don't have to worry about that. They tell me what time to be somewhere, what to wear, what days I have off, when I deploy. What they tell me everything. So you come out and all of a sudden you're like, I'm a man. I've done some man shit. I've done some man stuff in my life. Like, who's gonna tell me? And I
yeah,
come out and you're not quite what you think sometimes. And my
yeah,
solution to that is, like, one, being aware of it, and maybe being aware of your own ego sometimes. And I tell a lot of people, when they come out, they have the greatest plan ever. I'm going to college. I'm working at the family business. I'm doing this. I'm doing that. I'm going to go be a fireman. And I say, and you should maybe do some counseling. maybe find a therapist. Maybe just like, maybe if you're getting your VA disability, like maybe throw that at them and see what they have to say. Hop on a couple Zoom meetings with people. And I get that a lot. What? I'm good. No, dude, you'll see. You'll see what I mean. That's a
Gotcha.
lot of times what I mean. Like, you call me back when you want to talk to my guy or whatever. It's just a
When you
lot to
hit that
handle, man.
wall, yeah,
Sure. Yeah. And I think through the years, like I've seen even in my own life how much counseling and really like being able to, without judgment, think out loud and maybe go through those prickly topics, whether it's with somebody that you share things with or a stranger that can clinically, listen with a different kind of ear, I think has proven helpful. It's definitely something I wish I would have done earlier. I felt like I could have just gotten more clear-headed
yeah,
earlier in my life if I would have used some of those things. It's not always just this regressive thing that we need to do. Oh shit, my brain's breaking and I'm having these crazy things going on. Now I need to find therapy. I wish I would have been almost like the consistency of cleaning the brain a little bit throughout the years.
gotcha,
And I
man,
suggest
gotcha.
it quite a bit now.
I think, and I mean, and kinda going in, like, the fire side of it, like, dude,
Hmm.
I can relate to some of those things, that you talk about, you hear about this stuff and you're just like, "Dude, that ain't me, that ain't me." And next thing you know, you're like, "Alright, man, maybe it is kind of me." Like, I'm, coming home and I'm just irritated, and it's just like, dude, it does. It starts weighing on you, and then life gets in your hand, and dude, it's heavy, But, dude, like I said, I think what I liked that I heard in that was not just you have this brand, Brigands, but, like, you also just said, "Hey, my DMs are open." Like, that's what this is about. You see your brand and dude, it's like this tough, just awesome brand, but also it's like, "Hey, guys, we're trying to help here also." Like, we're just not this brand that tough guys don't message us, we don't have
Mm.
bad days. Like, "Hey, hit us
Yep.
up if you need us."
A-
I really like
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah, that's kind of the answer for me with all the toughness of the transitioning and all these things from the military and all this. A lot of the answer comes down to community and finding like-minded people
Nice.
and kind of finding
Nice.
that tribe. And that's really what it comes down to. So whether it's t-shirts or the fire tets on the helmets and stuff like that, that is where people are seeing that common structure and kind of the representation of it. But when it comes down to it, it's about, we found that in the county when I got out of the military, we were making some t-shirts for the Rangers, and it was the original diamond was like the old World War II Ranger diamond, and guys
Nice.
were like,
Oh,
I gotta
alright.
have that. Oh, we gotta get that. And I got out, was sitting in a college classroom with no community, not in the military, not serving the way I was, and not really having that sense of pride. When I got into the fire service, we threw it up like a bat signal, and people were hungry for it. And they were like, this if you build it, they will come, man. And Volusia County and Florida and now so many places over the United States, you see firemen that are out there aggressively going interior and working their asses off and living by the culture and just straight up
Yeah, yeah.
walking that. And dude, and that's what it's all about, man. And instinctively, you are helping that mental health side of everything because that community is growing. We're getting pictures of selfies from dudes from different states training together with brigand stuff on their helmets. And, and it's the guys, that's they're carrying our flag, man. Like they're the guys that see what we stand for. And I've said it
Yeah.
all the time, whether you're a fireman, a ranger, a single mother, a city worker, a local surfer, if you're doing what you love and you do it honestly, let's get a freaking Brigands Co shirt on your back, dude, because you're pumping me up already. Like, that's it.
Dude, you're freaking pumping me. I'm like, dude, but
I'm
the
getting
thing is,
jacked up
like,
too, man.
yeah, that's the energy that I feel when I see those pictures, man. It's your community that is just, like, hardcore about it, like,
For
it
us, it's always been about highlighting those people the most, the ones that are really out there day in, day out, getting to it, man.
alright,
That's what that
dude, so
Instagram is for.
we I'm gonna jump ahead here. I got your, brigands on here, but dude,
Hell yeah.
let's get into it. You said that you started it because like you wanted that community, and the saying was sitting in your
Mm.
head, and you were like, dude, I want to put it on a shirt. And then, like you said, you put the diamond on it, which was the Ranger. Like,
Yeah.
let's
Kind of
let's talk
funny.
about it.
Yeah, it's
What's
kind of
it
funny how it all
mean?
started.
Wh-
Yeah,
tell
so
'em. Yeah.
the term brigands isn't it's kind of it equates to calling somebody a pirate or a thief. It's a little bit derogatory. Originally stemming from where we kind of came into knowing it was a lot of Rangers out there would know it from the General Creighton Abrams Charter, and post Vietnam standing up different ranks of the Army, especially with all of the hoopla after the Vietnam War within the
Right,
ranks,
right,
and all of that stuff, trying to restate standards and what these units were really going to be representative of. The Ranger selection process and all of this was essentially put out by Creighton Abrams that said there's a line in there that was something along the lines of, we want the best of the best, and there will be a strenuous selection process here to be this special unit,
right.
but it will be comprised of no hoodlums or brigands, or it will be disbanded. So if the ranks were to muddy as if, like during the years past, then the company will disband. But it was said that the Ranger Regiment, wherever it goes, it will be apparent that it is the best with its hands, with its weapons, and what it can do on the battlefield, essentially. So that was kind of the new Ranger Battalion that was being stood up. And we used to make jokes all the time during the 2012 time frame when I was in, that it was like, dude, everyone here is a brigand. Like, that's such an old thing. Everyone's getting in fights in downtown on the weekends. You're drinking like fish. We're deploying every year and taking it to the enemy. Like, brigands win wars, man. That's kind
Yeah.
of a funny terminology. So, as somewhat of a joke and a tip of the hat to the old boys, we were like, also set up Alpha Company, Bravo Company, Charlie, Delta Company. What about Brigands Company? So we put the Brigands Co. on a recognizable diamond logo and started walking around with them, and people were like, how much for that? Give me a $20 bill. I'll write down what you want tomorrow. And around that time, Instagram was starting to kick up, and a lot of these other bigger pages, military pages and things were kicking off. So we kind of hopped onto that train. And again, it went dark for a little while when I got out, but re-kicked back off once I started in the fire service and all, and kind of put a
Brigands,
more
dude.
broad
I
shield on
love
it.
it.
And yeah, it's been a good time, man. We've been
I
yes
love
man
it,
ever
man.
since.
But also, like you said, it's just not shirts. It's a community. It's you also donate back to military and first responders, PTSD and depression too. So I mean, dude, like you said, is I know that we've got this hardcore front, but we also, support all this other stuff. We'll
Absolutely. Yeah, one thing that I always like so much is like the old Minor Threat song. I say it all the time. You and I are perfect examples right now. We say, like, sometimes good guys don't wear white. It's like, just because you're wearing the black shirt and you got hand tattoos or neck tattoos or whatever the case is, rough exterior. I know guys showing up in their lifted Tacomas or Harleys coming up to the firehouse, like, yeah, those are the guys that are working their asses off to save your life, So sometimes good
yeah,
guys don't wear white. And of course, like, it has become that community where, my buddy Jordan Snipes, shout out, Speak Up Tomorrow Needs You. It's a 501c3 here, where he's like my nonprofit counterpart, where anything that guy does, I know I'm going to dive and try and make it to. I actually owe him a phone call now that I'm thinking about it, because he's blowing me up probably about the next fundraising thing. And all that
yeah.
guy does is crowdfund and fundraise privately, and he sends any local first responder or veteran to counseling for 5 sessions within 24 hours of a phone call. And it's all
Nice,
apart
man.
from your
Wow.
organization, all private. And I've watched that guy come out of his own pocket for veterans that need stuff in the Volusia County area. So we do a lot
Dude,
of booths together and things like that. It's really meaningful for sure.
that's awesome, man. Because I mean, I think what I've seen is you guys do like a fire truck pull or
Yeah, so a couple different things. That was actually the last one we did, was the Port Orange Fire Department pumper pull. and that was put on by the Youth Emotional Support Foundation. It's
Okay.
actually
Okay.
for adolescent suicide and mental health and things like that.
Nice, man.
Um,
Nice.
and yeah, we were able to throw up a booth and kind of sponsor a team and kind of do that whole thing. And at the end of it, anything we get, would take a percentage of our sales and give it to those guys and help out some of the unions and stuff like that. So
That's
a good
awesome,
way
man.
for us to like keep our finger on the pulse and get out there and support some of these local charities.
Yeah. Well, dude, I think that was cool. I saw it. I was like, man, if I was closer, I'd love to go down and do that. That looks like an awesome event, man.
Dude, we've had so many people. It's funny. We had the one from a couple years ago. We had 3 guys drive from Oklahoma, one come down from Holly Springs, North Carolina, one come up from the Miami-Dade area, and we did like a 10-man pull team for Brigands, and yeah, fun
Dude,
stuff, man.
hell yeah. Um, and two, let's rewind it back because yes, you Rangers out, and then you're like, you know what? I want to be a firefighter. Let's just throw this right
Yeah,
on top of it. So
yeah, that's
you
funny.
said your brother was an EMT. Is your brother on the
Mhm.
fire department then too?
Yeah, he actually works for he works for a department about 30 minutes west of us here. So he's
Gotcha,
been
gotcha.
on again. Kind of funny. This is like the one direction we kind of went opposite. He actually went to he went to the LEO school, knocked out the police academy, and my dad was a triple cert back in Texas. So I think a lot of it was he wanted to just give that a go at
Yeah,
least be able to carry that around for a little while. Decided that the fire
yeah.
service was more for him and went the straight fire side, but he's been on the job about 6 months longer than I have over at his department. So,
Nice, man.
um,
Dude.
I had a little bit of a break. I didn't go straight into firefighting. I ended up getting out and immediately went to EMT school. I figured that was, and for anybody listening, any veterans out there, man, if you're getting out of the military and trying to go into something, EMT school was such an awesome transition. I thought it was like, I was very nervous about going back to school in any capacity and taking tests after just shooting
Yeah,
guns and my test being on the shooting range. Um, so I was very nervous for myself, but ended up doing well in EMT school and then immediately went back to wanting to go into the military. I kind of said, "Hey, that was cool. I did okay in EMT school. Now get me back into the army. Like I'm done with the civilian
gotcha.
stuff." And really got the cold feet and just really wanted to get but and just because I didn't really want to sit around and do nothing, I started going to get my associate's degree, started using my GI Bill, and I ended up just working construction and went to school for about a year and a half, picked up my associate's degree, national EMT, and then I popped over and knocked out fire academy and got hired
Gotcha.
on here. So
Yeah, dude. It's definitely like you said, now you're probably like, "Oh, now I know what they were doing in the military for medical stuff, doing your EMT," you know? But I think, like you said, it is probably one of those easier transitions for somebody in the military because, the fire service is pretty structured, just depending on which department you're with on how structured they are.
yes,
You
definitely.
know, it I mean, obviously, I feel like the fire service was, a lot of influence from the military, especially way back in the day, doing it. So I feel like that would be a little easier transition. And hats off to police officers. You said your brother was in law enforcement for a little bit. Hats off,
Yeah,
man. Do not get as
truly.
much. They don't get the respect that they need. Like we run calls with them all the time, and I'm just like, dude, you guys are the true heroes because again, when people, you know, rag on you and they talk shit and everything, but, like, when they need you, you still show up,
Oh
and
yeah.
then they're happy to
Yeah.
see you, and it's like, "Dude, you guys just don't get the respect that
It's crazy. Yeah, my buddy that runs the nonprofit, Jordan Snipes, he's a law enforcement officer, and we mess with each other all the time. And I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
but seriously, dude, I
Yeah, oh,
couldn't
yeah.
do it, man. Yeah,
I'm still giving you
he's the man.
crap, but yeah,
Right, right. Oh, it's not gonna stop, of course, but
yeah.
totally. Hats
But
off
yeah,
for sure.
dude, so, let's go back to the fire service of so what's one of the best calls that you've ran?
Man, dude. So apart from just like walking down like a crazy fire or whatever,
Yeah, yeah,
some
yeah.
kind of like some more specific stuff. We had a pretty We had a pretty good, you know how it is, pretty good. We had a pretty bad call on the highway a
Yeah.
couple years back.
Yeah.
Just a pretty gnarly MCI, and it was really I actually responded on an ambulance, but I was like the second unit on scene,
Got
and
you.
it was one
Got
of
you.
those where you see a really respected battalion from the city south of you standing in the middle of the highway with a radio, kind of just going, I have no idea how big this scene is. Go that way and radio back. And it was one of those, and we were like, all right, we're cowboying right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Everything that kind of comes along with that was there was a controlled burn out west where the wind switched pretty bad in the middle of the night. And then the ceiling just sat super low and cars on the highway just started. I mean, we were out there
Oh,
still listening to
wow.
cars,
Yeah.
colliding about a quarter mile down from us. And I think we ended up taking 17 patients, something like that. We flew 3 out, extricated 4. It was kind of one of those all nighter deals. And stuff like that is really just when you see like the orchestrated side of everything. It's almost
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah.
wishing you could just be
Controlled chaos.
it really is, man. And when you just see like it kind of goes back to some of the leadership stuff too. That was when you see that truck pull up and you see that crew hop out and you're like, hey, yeah, I need you guys right now. Come on, let's get to work. And it's one of those like, it's that shit hot crew that you work with really well, and you feel that like wave
Yeah.
of
Yeah. Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, we've got the big guns now, baby. Like let and you know what that's like when you're on a
Right.
fire and you got the good crew and whatever it is, man.
Yeah.
Like I remember that I was pretty young on the department. I think that was my rookie year. Um, and I remember that being one of those really cool, like you felt it. You really felt the
Dude,
gears turning.
it's weird. Like you said, I did my interview last week and I asked myself that, and you like you said, you run the fires, you run the shootings, you run the stabbings, things, but it's just that one call that sits out in your mind that you're like, oh wow, like, and I shared mine. It was the best and one of the worst calls that I ran at an older veteran shot himself and he didn't kill himself, and I held his hand all the way into the hospital. I can probably 3 or 4 times that I've held somebody's hand on the way into the hospital. But dude, like you said, it's a lot of people would probably think that it's like, oh, it's this gigantic fire that you ran. And it's like,
Right.
dude, it's sometimes it's those ones that just hit you just like that one where shit's happening so fast that afterwards you get done and you're like, how in the hell did we do that? Like
Right.
like
Yeah.
it just hits you where you're like, did that seriously just happen? And so
It's
I
so
think
true,
it's
man.
funny that like the more guys that I talk to with that or gals too, that it's like, sometimes it's just those ones that you're like,
Yeah. Or it's just those really standout specific parts of something that's really standing out. We had pretty gnarly Hurricane Ian that came through, and we had crews, the guys that I was with, I don't think we hit the rack for like 32 hours straight, and running those calls where you're just waist deep in water, catching people out of windows all night, putting them into high water vehicles and taking them to the city gym or whatever the high spot was. I mean, those are like, don't get me wrong, fires, nothing beats a fire, but those are
yeah,
such like rare calls, like the big MCI on the highway. I mean, there were people saying like, I've never been on a scene that big before. That was pretty crazy. And they're 15-year guys, that's pretty significant. So those
yeah,
calls are really awesome to see just all the moving parts truly come together.
yeah. MCI, man. I mean, yeah, I don't know. Maybe 5 patients. Maybe that's the biggest one I've been on.
Sure.
I don't 17. No, I haven't been on
Yeah,
that
when you're
one.
like, you can't even, I think it was like about a mile was about the whole. I mean, there were
Holy.
cars crashed up. So, I mean, just trying to props to command and whoever's running that stuff.
Oh,
I think I was
dude,
even
they
too,
could, yeah,
I was even
command can
too
have
young in
that.
the,
Like,
right. I was like, I think
what
I
do
was
you
even too
need?
young in the fire service for me to know why they were calling what. I was like, I'm going to be down here putting tags on stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Hats off to
yeah, but
that, dude.
really,
I mean,
really like truly that first, like truly triaging, like jogging down the highway with your partner, being
Yeah.
like, "Hey, we got a black tag here. I'm gonna walk these over to the end, sit underneath this pole, don't move, we'll be back." That whole
Yeah,
thing
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
was definitely stands out as a significant call. It's one of those ones where you're like, you never want that to happen, but damn, if it's gonna happen, I'm glad I was working,
Yeah.
you know?
And I think that's one of the craziest things and the craziest feelings is like you never know what the day is going to bring. And I mean that's like
Oh, yeah,
military for,
of course.
but a
Sure.
lot of things is like you never know how it's going to go and sometimes things happen so quickly that like I said afterwards you're like how the hell did we do that? Like
Well,
it's
how many
incredible
times this is what I
sometimes.
talk so much about the mental health side and why kind of some of the difference I've seen between veterans and first responders as well. How many times have you ran that crazy call where you're thinking that when you're taking your bunker pants off in the bay or whatever you're doing, deciding if you got to go take a shower or if you can go straight back to bed? You go back in your room and you try and immediately go back to sleep.
Boom.
And then you wake, and then maybe that means you didn't have that crew AAR or that little dispatch of the crew after because you came back home and it was 4 a.m. and you just wanted to try and get an hour and a half before you had to get up. So then you wake up in the morning, you have coffee, you wash the truck, whatever, hand off, everyone goes home, and then you're back with your family. And it's like maybe you didn't even really decompress that crazy shit that just happened in the middle of the night because you just went to your bed and turned it off. Like,
Yeah, you try to
that's
turn it
crazy.
off.
Like
Yeah.
that can't yeah, that can't that's pretty wild. Like, and I think over time that is so much of why things can sneak up on people and why it's important to have the community on the days
Yeah.
off and
Yeah.
to have that back and forth with your crew at the table and all that stuff, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's brain cleaning, man. You got to scrub that stuff, you know?
Yeah. Um yeah, dude, and let me and yeah, dude, I definitely agree with like you said, you're running all those calls and then you've got to go back to bed. Like it's
Yeah, it's just kind of a
sometimes you
weird
do, sometimes you
yeah.
don't. I mean, most of the time you don't because you're just like, all right, now I've got to relax, try to get back. And then, like you said, you're just kind of anticipating that tone to go off that you're like,
Yeah, right.
come on, just make it through the rest of the night, you know?
And now, right. Yeah. Yeah.
And so, dude, and then like that's where Brigands comes in, and that's why, you started that brand. Let's throw that on your plate also, but that would kind of wasn't, it wasn't really, it was something that it was cool that you wanted to do, that it had meaning to you. And you didn't know that other people were going to get that, get it out of it also.
Yeah, it's kind of what I started to see, when I was looking at the fire service and law enforcement and everything is, yeah, these people are I was kind of like, "Oh, I don't see any of the guys I used to hang out with. All my buddies still live in Savannah, this and that, boo-hoo, whatever, whatever." And, like, these people are everywhere. If you
Yeah.
find you just got to put out, like I said, put out the bat signal and they're around. And a lot of times they're firefighters that have the same mentality. I tell my buddies all the time, the guys that I work with, I'm like, y'all would have been insane rangers. Like y'all would have been better rangers than I am. Like y'all are smarter than me. You freaking beat the brakes off me in some of these workouts, man. Like there's nothing that I did that y'all couldn't have done. And that's kind of the whole thing. It's like there's so much more in common here through these different
Yeah.
walks of life.
Nice.
And that's absolutely what Brigands is about. I tell that to my guys all the time.
Dude. And yeah. And and dude, I had a follower that posted up and tagged me in a picture, and I'm like, right below a Brigands sticker, and I'm like, dude, that's freaking awesome. That was
Yeah,
so.
I
I
love
was
that.
like, I was pretty pumped about that. I was like, dude,
Nice.
I messaged him. I was like, two great brands, one great spot. It was like,
Love that.
uh, so
Yeah, it's
dude,
always super humbling to see,
here's
man.
here's your bragging time. What was like one cool thing that's happened to you, with the brand? Um, was there like, and I know you don't have to share like names or something, but was there somebody that reached out to you like, dude, like this brand like really helped me? Or, did you get this like on a celebrity or something? What's a cool story or something? It's a bragging time where you're like, hey, we got to do that,
Yeah, honestly, man, I think where I'll say bragging time, I'll use it as a time to really talk about like the things that have floored me the most, like things that have really like been impactful for me, where it's like my personal like what makes me want to freaking do a backflip on this podcast is guys like freaking Colin Sperry, shout out Colin Sperry, Matty Johnson, the guys that have reached back out and talked about how the by any means necessary and doing what you love and doing it honestly and really putting your best foot forward and doing all these things that we talk about has helped them in their personal lives. Colin Sperry has been going through a freaking wretched amount of cancer treatments. He's a Marine Corps veteran, Memphis Truck 8 veteran, and he's really been going through it. We've done fundraisers for him in the past, and we've tried to help him out with some treatment costs and things like that. He's a dude that I wish I was closer to, but again, he rocks the brand and he finds strength in some of that, and that is, keeping in touch with those guys is like that's the business right there, man. Same thing. Matty Johnson going through a tough time. He's had a hard walk with alcohol and addiction in the past, and has had some crazy surgeries. Spent some gnarly time in the hospital. First time I got to meet him, we were all sold out of our ball caps, the by any means necessary ball cap. I had like, dude, so stoked to finally meet you. I gave him my hat, and ever since then we've been like super tight. And he talks about how much the brand has kind of given him strength on some weekdays and stuff. And
Yeah.
that's incredible, man. Like we've got some cool people rocking our stuff. We got some big names out there that are rocking
Yeah.
t-shirts and everything and all, and that's all great. We love those guys to death. But man, again, just the people that like truly use it for that kind of strength is like, bro, I'll get emotional. Don't make me. You know what I mean? It's big time, bro. It's big time.
Dude, I see a lot of people rocking it, man. And like you said, your guys' page is just, dude, it pumps me up like seeing it.
It's all them, bro.
And
It's all the people that find the commonality of it and just show themselves walking it, dude. That's all it is, man. It's awesome.
Well, dude, I love it, and I hope, if everybody, we'll kind of shout everything out afterwards
Hell
where
yeah.
everybody can find it because I love it. I think it's great. Your freaking logo's freaking sick. Your designs are badass. Like,
Appreciate
that's
it,
what
man.
drew me to it. I was like, dude, like your shit's pretty badass. Like, but again, dude, I think it's kind of like what you were saying earlier was it's about the community, it's about the people. You don't have to be a firefighter. You don't have to be a ranger. Brigands
Right.
is all of us,
Right.
deep down,
Absolutely.
we're all blue collar workers that, that's Brigands. Like, let's
Dude,
go
that's
get our
it's one of the
hands
coolest
dirty.
things. It's like scroll through some of the followers of Brigands Co. and you'll see anything from skateboarders to veterans to police officers to, you name it.
Yeah.
You name it. They're out
Dude,
out there.
I
And
think one of the coolest ones I saw was somebody surfing. And I think maybe they had a shirt on or a sticker on the board. And I was like, dude, that's so badass,
Absolutely.
But dude, we're coming to the end here. And like I said, I want to make it entertaining, and I want, I'm going to just rapid fire you some questions so we can hear, what's your favorite movie?
American Psycho.
American Psycho. All right. I will actually say that is one that I have not seen.
Oh, dude, you got to get on it, man.
It's Christian Bale, right?
Christian Bale, yeah.
Yeah, that American Psycho. Nice. All right. That was one I wasn't expecting.
All right, even better. I love it.
All right. What's your favorite book if you read books?
Favorite book, one that oh man, tough to pick a favorite. One that I've definitely read. It's got to be my favorite because I've probably read it I've read it 3 times now. Is Fearless, the Adam Brown autobiography, or the book about his life. Was he was a SEAL Team 6 operator. He was killed in combat in 2010. The story of Adam Brown's life is a extremely emotional book, but he essentially had a drug problem while serving in the military and was deploying during those early 2000 years and was coming back and relapsing on trips back home, and his struggle with that and religion and God and finding Jesus and all these different things. I just find extremely interesting, extremely inspiring, and it is just It's heavy, man. It's one that I have to
All right,
definitely
all right.
set down and, like, take a step away from, but, man, Adam Brown, like, seemed like an incredible guy, and, the story is very compelling. It's
Dude,
awesome.
that's okay, cool, cool. I will definitely check that one out.
Yeah,
I
Fearless.
kinda see the
Definitely is a good
look
one.
see your look, and I'm like, "All right, man, this guy doesn't read books, come on." Like,
Every now and then, dude, every now and then, I get a wild hair.
I have very few books, but dude, I'm just so busy anymore that it's just like I don't even have time
It
to
is
read.
tough, Ben. It's
Yeah.
tough, that's for sure.
What's your favorite food?
Probably steak. Pretty easy answer. Probably a ribeye steak will do it for me about 8 days
Oh,
out of the week,
all
so
right. What do you are you a well done guy or are you a medium
yeah.
rare guy?
If it's me, I'll go read medium rare. If I'm eating out somewhere, I'm cool with medium. Medium's cool,
Are
but
you
medium rare
the
usually.
ketchup guy or just straight steak?
Pretty much straight steak. I'll do a little foo-foo something something if I'm at work with the guys and they've spent $18 on some sauce that Guy Fieri made or something. You know how
Got
it
you.
goes. I'm like,
All
what
right,
is
all
this?
right.
All right, I'll try it.
Uh, what about your favorite place that you visited?
Favorite place I visited. Man, that's
Your one go-to that if somebody said, "Here's the money, right now you can go."
God, just because it's so polar, I'll go somewhere in the mountains. I'll go Utah or somewhere. I'd
Yeah, I
probably say
mean,
out west
easy for
somewhere
you.
for
You
sure.
live in Florida. You're probably by the beach, so you go to the beach all the time.
I am about 2 miles off the water, so that's
Yeah, I don't wanna
I
hear
wouldn't go
the,
somewhere.
"I'll go to the mountains, I guess."
Yeah, that's true. All right, you got me. You got me.
For everybody listening, yes, I know, Dylan
Right.
lives by the beach, like, come
We
on.
do okay. We do okay.
Alright, coffee or energy drink?
Coffee all day. Coffee all day. I'm not an energy drink guy. Yeah, I'm not a big energy drink guy.
Not yet, not yet, you're still
No,
32, you
not
said, so.
yeah, not for me.
Um, what's your biggest fear? I'll tell you
Man,
mine was
biggest fear.
skydiving, I think.
Yeah?
Even though you've probably
Biggest
done
fear.
that, but dude, I, like, get on a plane and I'm like, "Man, I don't know if I could jump out of this thing." I don't
Dude,
know,
it's
you
true.
know?
I never really had like a problem jumping out of planes, but it was definitely sweaty hands every time. I always think of like worst case scenario every time. And then I'd be fine, once I get it and I'd freaking everything goes silent for a second, you kind of just floating around in
You're
the
like,
air
"Alright,
like
we're
that.
good,
Yeah,
we're good."
we're good, we're good, we're good. But
The chute open, we're all good now.
yeah, dude, honestly, biggest fear, uh I'd say, like, just something super minor that I would look over, like a black widow in my boot or something like that. I get really OCD about that. I'm always clapping shit together in the bay or, like, out here. It's not even really a thing that we have to worry about that much, but I leave something outside and I'm, like, jamming my hand in there trying to kill
Make
shit, but
sure. Alright, alright.
every once in a while, you get one of those little
We'll
Florida
we'll
lizards in
put
there or something, but,
spiders down.
spiders in places they shouldn't be.
Yeah, if they sneak up on you. Like, snakes I'm
Yeah.
good with, but if I,
Yeah,
like,
not
pick something
in
up
my
and there's a
bed.
snake there, it's
Right, right,
like,
right.
"Alright,"
Yeah, there's a snake in
like
my pillowcase, I'm gonna have a problem, yeah.
yeah, 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 exactly, man, exactly.
Totally, totally. I'm cool with that.
What's your favorite quote?
Favorite quote. Damn, that's a good one. Favorite quote. Reap what you sow. Reap what you sow. For sure. I think that's good or bad, man. You're the maker of your own faith. You're responsible for your actions and the actions you don't take. So reap what you sow, whether that be good or bad. I hope
The
you can stand
only
by it.
thing you can control is yourself, you
That's
can't
exactly
control
right.
anything else, but you can control yourself. I love that, man.
That's
Uh,
that's exactly right.
alright, one thing that people don't know about you.
One thing that people don't know about me, I'm a huge music nerd when it comes to percussion in general. I was on the wrestling team and the drum line and jazz band. I was the kit drummer in the jazz band in high school. Jazz is like one of my favorite styles of music to play, even more than
Really?
hardcore. Even more than hardcore music, like heavy
Really?
stuff. Yeah,
Alright.
I'm like put on the Count Basie on the record and I'll play along. Yeah. So I grew up playing piano at like 4 years old all the way up till high school. Was in the marching band and concert band and all that stuff too. So I'm like big, like I love the drum corps international stuff and all like
That's
competitive
awesome,
marching band
man.
stuff. I'll nerd out with that all day long. So
Hell yeah, hell yeah.
secret band nerd.
All right. Last but not least,
Hit me.
who do you carry the flag for?
Definitely my buddy Andrew Amesbury. He was passed away in 2015, December 9th, towards the end of my enlistment. Had an unfortunate event. He was killed in training and he was 21 years old, just a little bit younger than me at the time. And man, I think about that dude every day. We were so much what they call raised in regiment together. We got there just like a month apart from each other, did our both same first deployment together. He was my gym partner. He was a little bit bigger. I was a little bit faster, so we were paired up together quite a bit. But yeah, we lost him to a gunshot wound in 2015. And man, there's nothing I would love to see more than to see where he would be today. But I love to tell his story as much as I can. Wear him on my wrist every day. Love that guy to death, and I carry the flag for Corporal Andrew Amesbury every day.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I think that his family would love that also, like,
They're a hell of a family, man. The Amesburys are the best. Shout out to those guys. They're
and
love them.
Brigands is definitely always thinking of him then. And
But yeah,
that's what,
always.
that's
Yeah.
awesome, man. Um, dude, so where can everybody find Brigands? Where can everybody find you? What, if somebody wants to rock one of those shirts with your, the original logo, where can people find
Absolutely.
you? Where can people get your stuff?
Yeah, we're pretty easy to find, man. Brigandsco.com, BRIGANDS.com, brigandsco.com, and Instagram is at brigands_co. My personal Instagram's pretty easy to find on there. You don't got to follow me. I'm not posting anything cool anyway. The website, everything's on there. You'll see the link tree. You can find us on there. DMs are open, phones are open, email is open. If you want to chat about something, we're very easily accessible. Hit our website, the gear page, the shop all page. I'm in here packing up your order. I'll get it out to you as soon as I can. But
Dude,
super easy to find, man. Reach out to us, say what's up.
I think that's what's awesome is like you're one man band, you know. I don't think you're a one man band, but like what I'm saying is you're a small business owner. Like you're doing this
Hell yeah,
all your
man.
own. You've started it all your own. Like you do it all. We don't have these big facilities. We don't have a big studio and all that. Like this is what Brigands and this is what Carry the Flag is all about. You put your mind to it and let's go get after it. Let's get our hands dirty and do it, man. So that's what I
That's right.
love. And two, I know, you do help out PTSD and, depression and first responders. Is that just through Brigands, or are you guys affiliated with a
Yeah, so really I'm kind of just a second arm and kind of I'm more or less another spokesperson for Speak Up Tomorrow Needs You. Find them on Facebook. Speak Up Tomorrow Needs You. If you search those guys, and you can even find them through our Brigands Co page as well. Um Always looking for donations and things like that to help these local guys around here.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's very much something that we are touching directly with our hands. So every penny of that goes towards getting veterans in front of counselors when they need it the most. So
Well, dude, Dylan, man, thank you again for coming on
absolutely,
here,
dude. It's been
and
real hell of a time.
I, like I said, I love your energy, and I know that we talked about maybe, here in a couple months or something, maybe doing a business podcast where, if you're our military or first responder, I always sit there and say the hardworking Americans of this country and just talk about, the struggles that we've gone through, the struggles that you've gone through, I've gone through, and help, maybe doing a episode together. I think that would be awesome and a lot of people would
Absolutely.
get out of it.
That's a whole
But
another rabbit hole we can get down for sure.
oh, dude, so much, just so much. But
2 hour episode on mistakes Dylan Curtis has made as a quote unquote business owner.
but dude, it's all about moving forward, man. And
Hell
I
yeah.
I love your brand. I mean, that was the thing that stuck out to me was first off, your designs. I was like, dude, this guy's hardcore. This is sick. Like,
Thanks,
this
man.
is
Appreciate that.
awesome. So dude, I appreciate you being on here and taking your time to, just to talk, man. So thank you.
It's been real, dude. I appreciate it. And you're exactly right, man. We'll definitely hop on again soon and get through into some of the business stuff. And yeah, I'm always saying like been falling forward since 2015, baby. We're gonna keep doing it.
Dude, that that's awesome right there, because that's just a lesson to everybody, is just like, dude, it doesn't happen overnight. And I struggle with that also, is like I want the end goal without all the other struggles, but it's just paying your dues every single day.
Yeah,
And
got that
dude,
right, man.
yeah. Thank you again for being on. And guys, like I said, this is this is Carry the Flag podcast. This isn't just for military and first responders. This is for the hardworking Americans that are the backbone of this country. And dude, just like Dylan, there's all of us out here. It just isn't about physically carrying a flag. It's about carrying the flag every single day. We all have a choice. So thank you guys for being here. If you guys like this episode, please send us a comment, share our stuff, subscribe to it all. Every little bit of it helps. And I just can't thank you all for being a part of this and taking your time out of your day to listen to this. This is nothing without you. I sit here and I mean this, that this is just a message without you. With you, this is a movement, and I can't thank you enough. Who's going to carry that flag?